The 1 Series is no longer, and to be honest, I'm not really all that upset about it. The 135i wasn't a very attractive car. The 1M was too exclusive, the price was astronomical, and the front end, well, you either hate it or you love it. It's been replaced by the 2 Series. Today we're driving a 2015 M235i convertible, and we're here to say it frickin' rocks.
It comes with a 3-liter inline 6 that is turbocharged, so it makes 320 horsepower and 332 pound-feet of torque. It will get a automatic equipped car to 60 in 4.3 seconds and run the quarter in 12.9 seconds. It's got a near perfect 50-50 weight distribution, but the problem with this one we're testing, it's a convertible, it weighs 3,955 pounds, which is almost 500 pounds more than the coupe does.
Unfortunately, automakers are having to succumb to the customers' desires to have a larger interior with more luxury. Instead of simply buying a 5 Series instead of a 3 Series, they want the 3 Series to have more legroom. That's causing all of BMW, Mercedes, Audi, everyone basically to make bigger and bigger cars each generation. That means enthusiasts who love cars like the E30 M3, the E46, are a little bit sad. Heavier, bigger cars just don't handle as well. But this M235i, honestly, is as close to a modern-day E46 M3 as BMW has ever made. We're also extremely excited about the newly announced BMW M2,
yes,
which should be one hell of a car.
It was very cool to see the M2 at the Detroit Auto Show, but after driving this car, I am so excited for the M2, even more than I was before. One cool thing about this car is you can actually get it in a 6-speed manual. It is a no-cost option. Thank you, BMW. This car has an 8-speed automatic. One saving grace of it is you get launch control, which you don't get with the manual transmission. This car also has a limited slip differential, which aids in handling.
The steering wheel on the M235i is perfect. It's meaty, it feels great in your hands. That was awkward. The steering feel is so precise and just reminds me of an evolution of each generation of BMW. You're instantly familiar. The suspension setup is perfect for a daily driver car, but also something that can exhibit virtually zero body roll when you're in a performance setting. My favorite part about the car, though, is how fun it is to drive and how not intimidating it is. Some of these higher horsepower cars, sure, they're fantastic in a straight line, but if you're not a professional race car driver and you're not driving on the track, it's a bit terrifying. This, you can have a blast in the turns, you can floor it more often, you can let the tail slide because it's predictable. It makes the overall experience of the car more fun than it would be if this had 450 horsepower or something like that. It would just be too much.
It's the perfect amount of power for this car, and it's so much fun to drive.
Absolutely.
For a car that's pretty much based on an entry-level BMW, this interior is great. You've got beautiful red leather everywhere, contrasts great with a white exterior, and the amount of plastic that is here is still done tastefully. It looks nice, and this contrast wood trim is also pretty cool.
I also like how the new generation of BMW's nav screen looked compared to, let's say, the E90 series BMW, where it had that double hump design. It wasn't very clean, and there's some cars now in the market that really look like you took a cheap Samsung tablet and just glued it to the dash. This is done in a way that's not entirely integrated, but it looks clean.
This has the technology package, which brings a bigger screen, and it has a load of tech features. I mean, heated seats, it's got a heated steering wheel, all the backup cameras you would need, convertible top, that's a totally different model essentially, but with a button here, put the top down in 20 seconds and you've got a convertible.
As previously mentioned, The 2 Series is a large improvement over the 1 Series in terms of its exterior visual appearance, as well as the interior. The front end looks much less like a pinched nose, and it's a slightly larger car, so some of the design and the proportions are able to be better. I mean, it's hard to deal with a really small wheelbase, like case in point, a smart car, something like that. So the added length, it didn't hinder the drivability in any way, but this new design, I like it.
I did not like the way the 1 Series looked at all. I thought it looked stubby and stunted and not a good looking BMW. This is a very good looking BMW.
One gripe I do have about this car is the convertible top. It was finicky even getting it to open and close. Took us a while to figure it out.
Yep.
And when you do open and close it, it takes forever.
20 seconds.
20 seconds. Compared to cars nowadays that can do it in
half the time.
Half the time.
F-Type is about 10 seconds.
And up to really high speeds. Something they should have worked on. Honestly, if I were to buy one of these, it would be a manual coupe, so you wouldn't have to worry about that. You get the lighter weight
savings, yep.
But after driving this, I do see the strong appeal of the convertible. I was worried at first, automatic, it was gonna weigh more, but the open top experience, you got more visibility, you almost feel like you can command the road more because of...
It suits the car's fun personality,
definitely.
in my opinion. Having a convertible top is a nice feature to it. This one is a rear-wheel drive model. You can actually get this in X-Drive, so honestly thinking about that as a fun winter daily driver, that'd be pretty damn cool.
As a recap, here are some of the things we love and hate about the M235i. First up, it's just incredibly fun to drive. It reminds me of an E46 M3, and that's basically the highest praise I could give any small BMW. The handling, the steering is perfectly weighted. The steering wheel feels great in your hand. The suspension setup, the powertrain, it's the perfect amount of power, 320 horsepower, for this chassis.
Additionally, this thing sounds really good. 3-liter inline 6 at high RPMs, it is loud, and for not a full-out M car, it sounds great. Initially, you even thought it sounded like a Porsche, right? It
sounds a bit like the flat 6 in something like a Carrera S, especially equipped with a PDK gearbox in the Porsche. This with the 8-speed automatic, in between upshifts, it has a little burble. That sounds fantastic. Despite being turbocharged, this is the way a BMW inline 6 should sound.
Lastly, the overall package this car provides is like perfect. I don't feel like it has any deficiencies. It's fun to drive, has ample power, sounds good, looks good, has all the tech features.
I'm also really impressed with the interior. This is a car that's meant to be a fun car to drive. Usually automakers might cheap out in that way. But in the interior, to make sacrifices to have enhancements in other departments, but it's I can't think of anything really that this car is sincerely lacking. There are some things we don't like about the car, mainly revolving around the convertible top. The convertible weighs 500 pounds more than the coupe.
Yeah, that's a lot of weight.
In this day and age, when you can often get an open top experience for almost negligible amount of weight addition. I mean, 150 pounds or something, but 500,
that's a lot.
It's just too much. Now, I will say, the open top experience adds a lot, and if you don't care about that, if you don't plan on tracking this car or anything, it doesn't feel. This to me doesn't feel slow. It doesn't feel hindered.
Ponderous or heavy or anything.
It's an incredibly fun car. I'm sure that the coupe might be a little bit more fun, but that's just the way it is. But 20 seconds to open and close the top
is slow.
Too long.
It's pretty frustrating. After driving F-Type convertibles, those go down in 10 seconds-ish, and this takes quite a bit of time, and it's also just a frustrating factor.
Overall, we both really loved this car. It kind of restored my faith in BMW. It makes me excited about the M2 coming up. It's so fun to drive. It's bringing BMW back to its roots.
Yes, it is.
With basically no sacrifices.
Yeah.
With that, I hope you enjoyed this review. Thanks so much to Mike Schaefer, the general manager of Grand Blanc Motor Cars in Grand Blanc, Michigan, for making this review possible. seriously, this car's available there now. He'll hook you up. We had an absolute,
Check it out.
We had an absolute blast. Look forward to seeing you next video.